Oh, can't sleep. Let's try something a little bit different today. He watched the child ahead of him skate around the rink. They were making a circular pattern. A child in front of him. A child in front of that. Slowly and steadily, they were skating, swaying side to side, hypnotized. It was strange, a man of his age, skating with children he didn't even know. He didn't even know how he got there. But he too, with the children, swayed side to side. It was them that he noticed. The cold, pale skin. The blue, dead lips. The children with him weren't what they seemed to be. Suddenly he knew. He had to close his eyes. He had to close them quickly. Close his eyes. He shut them tight. The children, all in unison, began screeching. An unearthly, hellish screech. He knew he could not open his eyes, lest the demon see him. But the children, the screeching, unknowing what was ahead of him as he skated forward, he could feel the encroaching, hellish, icy wind. And then he woke up. Adam had been having these nightmares for several days now. He didn't know why. Nothing particularly drastic had happened in his life. 2 years ago, he had become a shut-in. Afraid of crowds, afraid of the outside world. He would still leave to get groceries. He could muster up enough courage for that at least. But he dreaded every moment that he wasn't in his home, his sanctuary. He booted up the computer at his desk. A familiar sound of the computer stirring. As a light emerged from its screen. Maybe watching some videos could calm his nerves. For a few minutes he sat staring at his desktop, unsure what to do, his mind still a haze, both from a lack of sleep and from the terror of the nightmare he had just woken from. He brought up some videos with calming music and serene settings. Yet nothing seemed to calm his nerves. It felt like something. Eyes seemed to be everywhere. Watching. Waiting. After an hour, he realized things weren't going to get better, so he might as well at least try to get some sleep. So he laid down. As soon as he closed his eyes, all noise seemed to rush from the room. There was dead silence. Never had silence terrified him so. He opened his eyes. He could have sworn he saw a shadow pass over his head. Afraid to make any sudden movements, he slowly tilted his head side to side, surveying the area immediately around him. Sitting up, he continued to survey the room. Nothing. Nothing you could see, at least. He dismissed it as a trick of the eyes, laying back down. Another attempt to rest. Suddenly, that dead silence was broken by a hush. The sound was constant, consistent. A sound between the hiss of a snake and air being let out of a container. There was no direction to the sound. It seemed to come from everywhere, but nowhere. He stood up, trying to get a grasp of where the noise was coming from. No matter where he looked, no matter which direction he sought to find the sound, it continued without rest. He stood up, walking to the door of his bedroom. He turned the knob on the door, but something seemed to be stuck. The door opened into the room, so there was nothing that could be blocking him from getting out. Not unless it was on this side of the door. He tried the light switch, yet the light would not turn on. Flicking it a few times, he noticed the room seemed to be getting darker. The shrill screech of the children behind him. This time, though, his eyes would not shut.